This message, Chosen One, comes to you by divine purpose rather than by chance, since you have just passed a significant threshold. The last test was successfully completed. What you went through was more than just a hardship. It was a spiritual test designed to uncover the inner power that was always there. This message's time now supports it. You have changed from who you were. You were led to this confirmation. You did not find it by accident. To let you know that you survived, the cosmos, your forefathers, and even the invisible forces that accompany you came together. The delusions vanished. You're here for a reason. Hit subscribe now and step into your destiny. Big things are coming. You were woken by the strain, not broken. When no one else could see the weight you carried, you showed courage, trust, and tenacity to earn this new season. The door has now opened. There is a higher way ahead. You are here to be reminded of your strength, your purpose, and the larger mission that starts after the test, not only to be inspired. The time has come to rise. Chosen One, not only in celebration, but also in harmony, action, and vision. The final exam was the heavenly indication of a fresh start, not your demise. You didn't even realize you were being tested, yet you conquered a secret obstacle that most people would have given up on. You passed a spiritual test quietly and without much fanfare. And now the ground is stirring beneath you, as though it were about to deliver a blessing so strong that it could alter everything. That blessing awaits your signal or your level of preparedness. If you haven't already, please take a time to like, share, and subscribe before we get started. Everyone who has been selected is supposed to hear this message. Please leave the number 55 in the comments if the spirit of this message speaks to you. A sacred symbol to the universe, this number signifies that you are in harmony with your divine mission and prepared to enter the grandeur that lies ahead. Only those who have been truly selected will remain until the very end, and those who do will experience more profound discoveries. You will grow more spiritually clear and see the blessings included in this message. Keep in mind that wisdom is revealed in layers. To bring your mind, body, and spirit into alignment with the realities being conveyed, go over this lesson as much as necessary. Every time you come back, you will discover something even more potent, something heavenly that was previously concealed. Recall the times when you were doubtful and the late evenings when your thoughts would not stop spinning and you were unable to fall asleep. You believed that you were simply going through a difficult time, but there was more going on than that. You were being put through a series of small, repeated trials, tiny judgments, fast reactions, and internal conflicts that no one else could see, rather than a grand, overt test. All of those were components of a larger whole. Those decisions may have seemed little to you, but they were significant turning moments. This was your soul's silent trial, a silent spiritual court that asked, will you stand in truth? Will you give in merely to be at ease? When no one is looking, will you persevere? Everyone in your immediate vicinity, friends, family, co-workers, and even complete strangers, had a part to play. Even if it wasn't always intentional, their opinions, words, and attitudes were a part of your spiritual test. All of it was meant to show you something. Would you lose yourself or stick to your principles? Some people pushed you into emotional nooks, while others caused confusion or fueled your self-doubt. You did. You didn't back down. You may not have even realized it at the time, but you passed every test level by making the difficult decision to choose honesty, patience, and integrity. I think it felt unfair. You may have wondered why things were never simple, why your goals were never completed on time, or why it took so much effort to keep your peace. What you were going through was preparation, not punishment. It was the universe's method of determining your capacity to manage a far more significant vocation. You were shaped by those unseen struggles in ways that comfort could never. Without praise or acknowledgement, you developed spiritual fortitude. Your once held misconceptions about who you are, what matters, and your abilities began to fade. You had a clearer view of people. You had a clearer picture of yourself. The naysayers who attempted to dissuade you may have called you unreasonable or naive, but you started to see that they were only fear masquerading as wisdom. Something gradually changed inside of you, and their judgment was based on their own limitations rather than your truth. You ceased to shrink. You ceased expressing regret. You ceased allowing fear to overpower your faith. Things began to alter at that point. You had always been fighting the actual struggle in your head, and once you conquered that, the outside world started to react. Blessings came in small amounts. The peace came back, and things began to go your way. Then, almost unexpectedly, you stepped over a heavenly threshold. Whatever you call your higher power, the universe, or God, it takes note. You were not even aware that you were taking a test, yet you had passed it by meeting its spiritual prerequisites. Don't expect dramatic signs or loud applause. The reward for passing a spiritual test is frequently subtle, a feeling of inner calm, a realization in your soul, or the release of a burden you were unaware you were carrying. After that, doors start to open. Opportunities you once prayed for suddenly materialize. People who previously rejected your light are drawn to it, and those who doubted you watch in silent wonder as you climb. You demonstrated yourself to a greater truth rather than to them. Your life is now set to explode with plenty, alignment, and favor after your soul was analyzed and determined to be ready. The verdict from the silent tribunal is unmistakable. You are selected, prepared, and destined to rise. The startling reality is that the largest obstacle you have ever encountered was not external. It wasn't a betrayal, a loss, a person, or a career. Your own thought was the true barrier, the one with the greatest influence. Yes, you are harmed by others. Yes, you encountered unfair circumstances in life. However, the only reason those external events were significant was because they set off an inside reaction that you had not yet resolved. Your worst fear, that perhaps you weren't worthy, was validated by a betrayal. A part of you felt that you were doomed to fail, therefore it hurt to lose an opportunity. The force behind your troubles came from these internal beliefs, which the naysayers frequently unknowingly reflected. You are not enough, they repeated, echoing the lies you had already told yourself. You won't succeed. Be practical. They were there to reflect the delusions you had to confront, not to harm you. The true trip was about facing the aspects of yourself that agreed with the skeptics, not about disproving them. Spiritual enlightenment really starts at this point. Instead of searching for someone to blame, you turn your attention inward to find the truth. You observe how societal conditioning, childhood trauma, heartbreaks, and past events ingrained incorrect concepts in your mind. Perhaps you were warned not to follow your gut. Perhaps you were raised to believe that only a chosen few might enjoy wealth. These illusions may have become your reality over time because you believed in them, not because they were true, but because love always felt so far away. Myths are brittle. They start to disintegrate as soon as you ask them questions. Breaking free isn't always simple, though. The same doubters who surround you may attempt to keep you where you are. not because they despise you, but rather because they find your advancement unsettling. People who live inside illusions feel threatened when someone breaks free. They will use reasoning, shame, or terror to attempt to drag you back, but that is their discomfort, not your reality. But you persisted. You pushed ahead. You removed the layers of erroneous assumptions. You questioned your ideas. You adjusted your behaviors. And slowly, you learned that those so-called impossible obstacles were never real to begin with. They were illusions, unfounded stories, based on fear. The illusion vanished the instant you rejected your old story of inadequacy. All of a sudden, the sensation of heavy shackles turned to smoke. The road front of you opened up, and you bravely stepped onto it. Even the skeptics had to back off. Even though they were unable to comprehend it, they witnessed your growth. Not because you were lucky, but rather because you confronted your greatest adversary, your own limitations. Your development became indisputable. Now that the illusion has been broken, the area it inhabited is free, and what is hurrying to take its place? Truth, blessings, and growth. False beliefs no longer bind you. Like never before, the world of your potential has opened up. The ceiling has been removed. The cage has vanished. The only things left are the broad sky and your bravery in venturing into it. There are others who claim that life is nothing more than a meaningless series of occurrences, accidents, and coincidences. However, you've always had a gut feeling that something more significant was going on. You had the impression that a secret force was directing you toward your awakening behind every obstacle, detour, and holdup. You were being prepped, honed, and guided for a higher purpose rather than merely cruising through life. Unaware that you were in the midst of a heavenly test, there were times when it seemed like you were barely hanging on. These were spiritual setups, not mere coincidences. Every setback, postponement, or door that closed was a component of a larger, invisible plan intended to boost your confidence and increase your potential. It may have appeared to be a string of fortunate breaks or odd turns to those outside looking in, but you know better. Everything now has the heavenly fingerprints. In reality, what appeared to be rejection was redirection. The extremely meticulous choreography was what made it feel chaotic. The universe has always made a significant investment in light-bearing souls like yours. Most people remain trapped in their delusions, scared to ask questions or to change, but you had the guts to break through the mist. Like a diamond, you were being fashioned by pressure. Every disappointment, heartache, and instance in which you decided to get up, rather than become resentful, was evidence that your vessel was capable of holding more truth, love, and light. You can see how everything was functioning together all along, now that the curtain is coming off. The twist is that you almost never get to know the entire plan ahead of time in the universe. Moment by moment, step by step, it calls for your faith. You could have attempted to force the result or omit the procedure if you had known from the start what you were actually being prepared for. By keeping you in the dark, your development remained sincere. You took daring but blind actions that were pure. The signs, synchronicities, nudges, dreams, and calm inner knowing were visible to your soul all along, even though others might have thought you were lost or bewildered. Now that you've reached the end of your spiritual breadcrumbs trail, everything finally makes sense. You are not the only one involved. Your expansion, clarity, and healing have an impact on the whole energetic environment surrounding you. In an illusion-filled world, you have emerged as a beacon of light, and without even trying, you encourage others to awaken as well. Your presence changes the space. Your experience demonstrates to others what is possible when you have faith in the invisible. You are now standing on the brink of something great, your spirit enlarged beyond measure, and your old illusions destroyed. You are at last prepared to live out the purpose your soul decided upon before you were even created, not just to be blessed. Sacred design has emerged from what appeared to be random. You pass the exam, and the reward is alignment with your divine path, not merely success. You're here for a reason. Hit subscribe now and step into your destiny. Big things are coming. The blessings come gradually, almost inaudibly at first. Unexpectedly, a neglected debt is paid back. An opportunity presents itself that perfectly aligns with your interest. You might even wonder if these are merely fleeting good fortunes, or if they represent the beginning of something far bigger. A spontaneous job offer, a relationship that seems spiritually aligned, effortless creative ideas, financial breakthroughs, and emotional calm are just a few examples of the benefits that come faster, fuller, and louder before you know it. The fact that something special is happening in your life is evident even to those who formerly questioned your path. You know the truth, even if they call it timing or luck. It was a hard-earned abundance. It was the result of your resolve to change and your choice to endure hardship without becoming inflexible. Your inner work is reflected in this overflow. It can still seem unreal. It can be daunting to get so much light after years of hardship or smallness. This is a necessary aspect of your change, but you may even have feelings of guilt or anxiety, wondering whether it will all go away. You are gaining the ability to accept without fear. These advantages transcend wealth and social standing. They manifest as unshakable serenity, purposeful clarity, and soul-nourishing relationships. You feel more powerful in your honesty, more grounded, and more conscious. The universe seems to have been waiting for you to gain the strength to deal with the beauty that is now overflowing into your life. Keep in mind that duty accompanies abundance. Blessings test your humility in the same way that adversity tries your strength. The desire to stray and forget the habits that brought you here increases with the size of life. People may regard you differently, with some wishing to take advantage of your shine without reciprocating. Be wise, yet be compassionate. Determine who is merely passing through and who is genuinely meant to walk alongside you. Setting limits is not a sign of harshness, but of self-respect. Keep your peace. Respect the sacred energy you have created in this area. The idea that you can now glide through life without exerting yourself, that you have arrived at a point where nothing can touch you, is a dangerous illusion that humility protects against. In actuality, spiritual development never ends. There are new distractions, illusions, and lessons in every level. You remain teachable if you maintain your humility. You continue to pay attention to your inner voice. You continue to pay attention to the source that initially raised you. By doing this, you continue to be in harmony with the energy that bestowed these blessings onto you. Others can be inspired by your path, but only if it stays true to itself. Instead of being a performance, let your life serve as a live example. Instead of shouting accomplishment, let your growth whisper truth. Authenticity just is. It doesn't require praise. Genuine blessings are a part of an ongoing, dynamic relationship with God. They are not one-time presents. Your life will continue to grow in amazing ways as long as you respect the process, remain grounded in service, and never forget where your power comes from. Now that your life is flourishing, you face new challenges, but they're not what you may anticipate. You might have assumed that success would offer you only happiness, and while it does bring pleasure, it also necessitates a different type of equilibrium. Doors are opening. Your radiance draws people to you. It seems like there are new chances every day, yet with this growth comes a greater need for humility. This humility is about remaining true to the truth, not about denying your progress or reducing yourself. You were never the only one to succeed. Yes, you persevered and worked hard, but the divine forces that brought everything into your favor also had a significant impact. The story might have turned out quite differently if they hadn't stepped in at crucial points. Allow this knowledge to maintain an open heart and a clear spirit. Some may attempt to identify with your rising as more people begin to see your light. Not everyone who is interested in your achievement will be motivated by good motives. Without contributing to your path, some people might like to ride your wave. Be wise, yet be compassionate. Determine who is merely passing through and who is genuinely meant to walk alongside you. Your peace is safeguarded by boundaries. Additionally, humility prevents complacency, which is the belief that you can get by with little effort. In actuality, spiritual development never ends. There are new distractions, illusions, and lessons in every level. You remain teachable and attentive to the source that initially raised you while you maintain your humility. Keep your journey genuine. Allow the truth to be whispered by your growth. Authenticity doesn't require praise. Remain grounded in service and keep in mind your source of power. The more you respect the process, the more miraculously your life will grow. Bring your vision into focus first. Put it in writing. Make it genuine by saying it out loud. Never allow skepticism from others to divert you from your course. The next logical step in the journey that started with overcoming the delusions that prevented you from moving forward is the evolution of your spirit, not just empty ambition. The old tales no longer confine you. You are now able to picture a future in which you reach your full potential. Have faith that the cosmos will continue to lead you as you proceed. Soon, you'll meet new mentors and allies who will share their knowledge and help you realize your vision. You'll feel as though these relationships are a great fit for the energy you're giving the globe. Throughout this process, be modest and grounded. Ambition and arrogance are very different, and maintaining the authenticity of your idea requires striking a balance between humility and confidence. Keep in mind that your accomplishment is not solely about you. You encourage people to see beyond their own boundaries the higher you climb. When you gracefully share your tale, people will be inspired to break through their own delusions. Your tale is a part of the larger story that is being told for everyone, not just your own. Do not lose sight of the wider picture. Your current level of success is a result of synchronizing with the universal flow of prosperity and purpose, not only focusing on self-interest. Alignment is an ongoing process, rather than a singular accomplishment. Continue to have bigger dreams. Continue to aim higher, and keep in mind that the universe will support you at every step, enabling you to achieve your goals in ways you never imagined. Now that you have completed the first part of your journey, take a moment to think carefully about what has just transpired. Looking back from this elevated position, you can observe not just the distance covered, but also the numerous layers of change that took place during that journey. There were times when you doubted your worth and whether you had what it necessary to persevere. You endured seasons of loneliness, silence, and defeats, yet you persisted. Now that you're standing here in triumph, you can finally grasp the reality. The you who formerly questioned your value is no longer you. This victory was about overcoming your own limitations, not about outperforming others or proving anyone incorrect. It was your purpose to evolve, not to compete. The uncertainties, anxieties, and delusions that formerly attempted to mold your world were outgrown by you. You emerged out the flames, polished and untarnished. You can sense the change in your soul during the holy silence that follows your breakthrough. You are not the same person you once were. There is now courage where there was previously fear. Your thinking is clear today where it was previously muddled by confusion. There is now a solid and unwavering reality where self-doubt once existed. I am enough. I always have been. I always will be. A new power emerges inside you after you pass the test. The final exam that was never revealed but was always there. This authority goes beyond self-interest. It is for the healing you are supposed to provide, the lives you are supposed to impact, and the generational ripple effect your light will have. You know better than to relax even now that your win is assured. After a battle, true warriors don't put up their armor. Instead, they hone their skills, remain vigilant, and become ready for the next challenge. You are no longer readily tricked, even if the illusions reappear under different guises. You know the strategies. You continue to be a defender of your peace and your mission because you are able to see through the distractions. Some observers could attempt to undermine your development by attributing it to chance or coincidence, but their viewpoints will no longer be able to get past your defenses. You use tenacity, profound spiritual understanding, and divine timing to lay this foundation. Your voyage was planned, not haphazard. Now that the results of your efforts are starting to show, you see that the universe is rewarding your alignment, rather than merely testing you. Opportunities now come easily because you worked on yourself, not because life became easier. Because you carry the correct frequency, doors are unlocking instead of being forced open. You will encounter new soul allies, mentors, and heavenly missions along the way. The mission goes on. Even though the landscape may shift, your fortitude endures. You have already shown that you are resilient. In addition to survival, sacred expansion is what lies ahead. You'll keep rising, not under duress, but with a purpose. In retrospect, you might question how everything changed and how you were able to break free from the bonds of uncertainty, fear, and limitation. That is this holy path's secret. The meaning of transformation is revealed as you travel through it. It is rarely comprehended in the moment. Every chapter builds on the one before it, and what appeared to be a breakdown turned out to be a beautiful arrangement. You were prepared by every adversity. You were honed by each delay. You were guided towards something better by each rejection. You now enter the following stage with renewed vision, an unwavering confidence, unstoppable, and a complete understanding of your divine identity. Although the trip is far from complete, you now have everything you need within you and are embracing your purpose rather than chasing it. Continue moving forward. Selected one. The universe has far more in store for you than your past could ever hold, and your tale is just getting started. Maintain your loyalty, your attention, and most importantly, your alignment. You were created for this moment, and the road ahead is full with discovery.